Dog culture is like a porn addiction. What's one big thing about dog culture that's just like pornography? It's all just a fantasy. You're just telling your brain that there's some type of human thing happening here. Affection, intimacy, love. You're just telling your brain that that's happening while you're watching porn, and getting your dopamine and your serotonin, and then it's done for a while. Same thing with dog ownership. You take this dog and you anthropomorphize it. You label everything it does as human. You say that it loves you. You take dog owners, they take their dog in their truck, and then they'll say, my dog loves trucks. They take the dog to the gym, and they'll say, well, my dog loves to work out with me. You know, they'll label all of this stuff as love, affection. Like the dog jumps up on somebody, and they'll say, oh, that's just how he says hi. He just likes you. They label all this stuff about dogs as like some type of human love and affection and thoughtfulness and relationships. And the dog is just something that they purchased to boost their dopamine and make them look like good people because they have a dog. But really, they're not. They're just addicts. They're sucking down those dopamine hits from their dog. The same thing with porn. I mean, you watch the porn, you tell your brain that you're there, you tell your brain that you're experiencing all this affection and everything, but you're not. And it's the same thing with porn addiction. Like, people, they have to have more and more intense pornography and able to enjoy it. It's the same thing with dogs and their owners. They have to have more dogs. They have to hoard the dogs. They can't just have one dog. They can't just have their dog in the doghouse. And no, it's got to be in the house. No, it's got to follow them to the bathroom. It's a Velcro dog, they'll say. It's got to be in their bed. It's got to be in their bedroom. They got to take it with them to work. They got to take it with them in the car. You know, the thing has to go with them everywhere. It's never enough with dog owners. They got the dog a dog bed. Well, now it needs a matching collar, and now it needs a Seattle Seahawks leash. And then they'll say, oh, my dog loves the Seahawks, man. He's a Seahawks dog. Or whatever sports team or restaurant or clothing brand that you happen to put on the dog, you'll say, my dog loves that brand. He just really, that's what he insists on. That's just a fantasy. It's just an illusion of dog ownership. You're giving your dog all this human traits and literally jerking your brain off with your dog. You're just jerking yourself off. You get yourself off with the dog, you rub it, you touch it, you buy it something, but 10 minutes later, you're right back at it. Just like with porn addiction. Yeah. That's like you always see dog owners stroking their dog, right? Just like rub. You go over to their house and try to have a conversation with them. The dog has to come over. They got to be rubbing the dog's head. They got to sit on the couch rubbing the dog, rubbing their hands. It's just like pornography. You're just constantly rubbing on something, What do they call it? I got to go rub one out. But with pornography, it's not real. It's not real affection. It's not real human connection. So the relief you get from pornography, it just makes you addicted to pornography because it's not real relief. And that's the same thing with dog owners. They'll say, I got to get home and be with my dog, because I'm so stressed out, and dogs relieve stress. The stress that a dog is relieving is your anxiety that you have because you need to go where the dog is. It's like, I got to get home, the dog's alone. I can't stay out too long tonight because he might poop on the carpet again. You're constantly chasing that next dopamine hit with your dog. It's the same thing with pornography. People allow it to come between their relationships. The wife isn't getting a foot rub, the husband's not getting a neck rub, but one of them is probably spending a lot of time on OnlyFans. If you look at the credit card debt that gets racked up on OnlyFans and other pornography sites, and then compare that to the care credit, the $10,000 cancer treatments for a dog that is 14 years old. The dog is still suffering, but the dog owner, they cannot give up that dopamine, even if it means allowing the dog to suffer for a couple more years, a couple more $10,000 cancer treatments. Yeah. The same thing with dog ownership. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the cost. Even if the cost is the quality of life of the dog, because they just want to wear the mask of a good dog owner. They want to get the dopamine from the dog. They also want to get the dopamine from everybody out in society they're going to line up and be like, oh, you're such a good dog person. You went with the $15,000 radiation treatment for your 14-year-old husky or your 12-year-old Boston Terrier that has 3 seizures every day. Oh, you're such a good person. They don't care if the dog is suffering, living in its own piss and shit. They'll go spend $10,000 for another cancer treatment for a dog that should have been euthanized probably 5 years ago. Yeah, same thing with pornography. I recently talked to a young lady. Her kid had like $15,000 of OnlyFans on his credit card, and I was looking that all up. And evidently, it's common for people to max out credit cards watching pornography. It's just like dog culture. They're maxing out their credit cards for a dog that should have been euthanized, or a dog that they don't need, a dog that has bitten their toddler. They're maxing out their credit cards to keep a dog alive, despite the lack of quality that the dog has, despite the lack of quality that the human has, despite the fact that the ownership of the dog comes between human relationships. Just like with pornography. For me, this all boils down to, the brain and the reward system. Dog ownership hijacks the brain or reward system. You anthropomorphize the dog. Like with pornography, you're anthropomorphizing the screen that you're watching pornography on. You're telling your brain that that's human. I'm there, I'm being loved, I'm being touched, I'm being caressed. They're putting lotion on me and making me feel good. You're telling your brain that, but it's a lie. And that's why porn addiction and other addictions leave you depressed and seeking human connection. The same thing with the dog ownership. No matter how much they say dogs are better than humans, they are always accessing human-made products, dog food, dog parks, Facebook. Give me my likes, give me my likes. They'll start a page, pictures of huskies outdoors or something. There's hundreds of these pages where they require daily dopamine hits from the humans with that dog as the mediary. Yeah, so there you go. That's just my quick look about this, and I'll do a longer video later because I looked up some interesting sources on this, and it really just explains the addiction of dog culture. We anthropomorphize the dog. We fantasize about the dog. Everything about the dog is a fantasy. He loves me. He loves cars. He loves to go on hikes. The dog will eat a cat turd, and then somebody will give the dog some steak or ham sandwiches, and they'll say he loves ham sandwiches, he's so smart about sandwiches. No, he's not smart. It's just food in front of him, and he smells it, and you gave it to him, and now you got to feel like a dog dad or a dog mom. I'm a dog dad, I'm a dog mom. It's the same fantasy when you watch porn and you think that you're the husband or the lover or the wife in that scene. You're just playing a role play fantasy when you watch porn, and you're just playing a role play fantasy when you have dogs, because the dog isn't a human, and more that's all we do. We anthropomorphize the dog, and we replace humans with dogs, and we're replacing humans with pornography. Same thing. It's just a freaking subhuman addiction.